Alright guys, today we're going to talk about Marvel Generations. This was kind of like a short little series that was in between Secret Empire and now Marvel Legacy, the new run on the Marvel Comics. And it was all one-shots, all different stories of different characters, usually going back in time and kind of meeting the Legacy character, the one who held the mantle in the beginning, and how they connect and how they're alike and how they're different and how they're going to work together to solve whatever the issue is taking place in the volume. And Generations collects all of these in a hardcover. You can check out, I'll link it below in the video if you want to check that out. It's not a bad book and has quite a few issues to definitely take it all in. But today we're going to list the top 5 stories in that collection. So let's get to it. Coming in at number 5, I think I'm going to put the Hawkeye and Hawkeye. So what's that? This is Hawkeye now, Kate, and Hawkeye back then, Clint. You know Clint from, obviously, the movies, whoever watches this and doesn't read comics. This one is actually pretty kind of fun. Basically, Kate goes back in time to when Clint is just becoming Hawkeye and getting used to who he is, and they're on this island, similar to an island of Green Arrow. No, I'm just kidding. And so they are hunting down these villains who are, basically, you shoot them in a certain spot and they disappear. So it's kind of like a training type of thing going on, but Clint's evil mentors here. I thought this was kind of cool because I like Hawkeye. I really like what Matt Fraction did with him, but I really don't know much about him beyond that. So getting to see his past was kind of cool, and his mentor. And then I really liked Kate and Clint's chemistry. They balance off each other, and something that's really cool about the series is they've always been doing that throughout all their series, so it's no different here. So it felt right at home, and sure, the adventure itself was a little cheesy, but I had a good time in this one. So definitely Hawkeye and Hawkeye Generations was a lot of fun. Coming at number 4 is Iron Man and Ironheart. I actually like this one too. This one's a little different than the previous ones. This one actually goes in the future, and Riri, who is Ironheart, is getting to see how the future is, and she gets to meet like these new Avengers, which is kind of cool. And you also get to meet Tony Stark as a much older 126-year-old, I believe, man. This was kind of a cool little different story. I really enjoyed the dialogue between the characters and seeing a different view on the world, especially from the future, and having these two people who are extremely smart talk and converse was really fun, especially with the series being at now where Tony is out of commission and there's just an AI of Tony. It's kind of cool to see her interact with a live Tony. So I really enjoyed that quite a lot. The only really thing, I thought the art was really inconsistent and kind of hurt it at spots, but overall this was different than the others and unique, and I had a good time reading it. Coming at number 3 is going to be Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers as Captain Americas. I'm not a huge fan of the pacing of this. That's my major issue. I thought it was way too many pages, and it kind of felt a little too long to get to the point, but I thought it was cool because Sam basically goes back in time and he gets to meet Cap as he's just starting out. But the coolest part is you get to see Sam like go through his whole life from when he was in World War II all the way to the end of his life, and kicking it back with Steve, who gets old, and they just kind of have this relationship that is always really strong. One of my favorite relationships in comics in terms of buddies is Bucky and Steve Rogers, but I also always enjoyed Sam and Steve Rogers. I thought they all had just really good buddy chemistry. So just to see Sam kind of live out his life how he wanted, maybe not being a superhero all the time and instead becoming a pastor, I thought was really cool. Overall, it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a little too long and it was starting to drag a bit, but overall, I thought as far as like the chemistry and the storytelling was pretty well done, and kind of like a farewell to Sam being Captain America and Steve Rogers taking the shield back once more. Coming at number 2 is going to be Miles Morales Spider-Man meets Peter Parker Spider-Man, and this is definitely my second favorite of the bunch because it's like bringing it back to the classics. Miles goes back in time. I'm talking about all the way back in time when Peter's first starting out with college, and the famous scene from Homecoming is Peter lifting up that huge fucking brick wall. Well, in the comics, something happened like that to Peter as well, and it's really cool to see Miles talk to him right after that happened, and Peter kind of freaking out that his aunt is injured and might die, and just Miles saying, "Don't worry, man, you're gonna make it." And it really comes, and it really harkens back to when you take the mantle, you want to kind of fill fill the shoes of that character or be like that character or be different but take the same moral compass as the character. And I think Miles really absorbs the Spider-Man mantle well. I really enjoy watching him become Spider-Man, and then him and Peter being around the same age. I think Miles a little younger at this point really reflects that, whereas Peter's much older, or at least 10 years older in the 616 universe. So I enjoyed watching them two being around the same age area and interacting. It's funny, it's admirable to see Miles look up to Peter even though Peter's just starting out, and Peter looking back like, oh, you are a hero too, is really cool. So I enjoyed this one, and the art was pretty cool and different. And coming in at number 1 is definitely Generations Wolverine and All New Wolverine. So this is definitely the highlight of the book for me. It's Laura, who is now the Wolverine, going back in time to help Logan. Now listen, they've been partners before. There's always been that father-daughter type relationship. So seeing that play out is great, but you have to remember that Logan has been dead in the main universe for quite a few number of years now. So watching Laura get to work with him again, she almost comes off as trying to hold her feelings in, just like Logan would do. But at the end, she can't help wanting to hug him and embrace him. And it's kind of like a really tender moment. But on top of that, this issue is really fun because they're in Japan. That's always one of Wolverine's best settings. And on top of that, man, the fight scenes in this are great and brutal. It's because it's Laura and Wolverine once again teaming up. They're always entertaining fight scenes, and I really enjoyed the art in this. I enjoyed the story. It was heartfelt at times. It was vicious and awesome, as Wolverine comes to know. And then, I don't know, I just really thought this was the highlight of the series, especially from fans like me, where I like Logan, but Laura to me is the cooler Wolverine. I'm sorry, Wolverine fans. I just love her. It was really cool to see that she really does fill the shoes of Logan in a very respectable way. And watching Logan kick some ass is never a bad thing. So overall, this is definitely my favorite Generations issue. So that wraps it up. There's a couple of others. I think there's 9 or 10 of them on this book. Some of them are kind of weak. Some of them I didn't really enjoy. But since there are so many, I would love to hear which ones you enjoyed, maybe which ones you kind of skipped, maybe some of the ones I liked, who knows. But if you've read them, list them below. I think this is kind of like a cool little something different you could collect, and a little nice bridge between Secret Empire, which some people really didn't like, and then Legacy, which is what Marvel's doing now, with kind of bringing back all the old characters, or at least bringing them back in unique ways and giving the new characters some love too. This is like the middle ground, and I think they've done decently. Some of them are not so great, but some of them are pretty damn good. So anyway, list yours below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any other cool ideas, drop them below. I love to make more videos. And as you can see, I know this isn't the video to do it. I am I'm going towards more of a comic feel for my channel. It's just that I'm really not playing much video games lately. It's not really my hobby, but I love reading comics and I love making videos for you guys. I know some of you out there who follow me don't really care about comics. I'm sorry about that, but I hope you enjoy the content. Maybe get into some of these comics. They're great. And okay, I'll make a different video on that. Anyway, thank you guys for all the support, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did like this video, hit the like button, share it. I love to get more people reading these comics, and everyone have a wonderful day.